GM Fox fam, I'm going to go ahead and get started in Boot Lo-Fi Girl. Welcome to the ShapeShift DAO's weekly governance call, the 74th weekly governance call. We've got a pretty chock full agenda, not too crazy. I think we'll be able to get through it all. But just want to go over some housekeeping notes before we get started. This is your first governance call with the DAO. You can get involved as we discuss all of the weekly occurrences that have happened in the forum on our snapshot for proposals and things like that. The best way to engage here would be to either use the stage chat inside the Discord there, where you can ask your questions to the presenters who will be able to respond to you and engage in discourse with the rest of the community about what we're talking about, or to raise your hand and hop up on stage here with me and the presenters and ask your questions themselves. If you're going to be doing that, we do want to ask that people kind of be respectful of the speakers here on the stage and keep your talking to around 3 to 5 minutes at the very most. Really, we want to keep that about the timeline for each proposal. And if we get to the point that we see some hearty or meaty discussions happening about something in the incubation or ideation phase, sometimes we can break off and have a one-off community call for the specific subject. So that's always an option for us to save the time to give the important discussions to the issues at hand. So that may happen, may or may not, we'll see. Can always be requested inside the stage chat when we get to something that kind of stokes that in you. If you're looking to follow along on the slides, there's two places you can check them out at. You can check out the Zoom link at the top of the stage chat, where I will be sharing the slides, or else you can follow along at your own leisure in the copy of the slides that is shared in the recorded meetings just a little bit further down inside the stage chat. Going over our agenda, we're going to start with some appreciations, then we'll go through past proposals, active proposals, ideation posts, new forum posts and old forum posts, and then some Q&A. If anyone's got any questions about that, maybe anything related to governance. I was just on a call a little bit earlier and I heard there might be another incubation post sliding in while we're talking. So hopefully we'll have time for everything to chat about all of these things. And we'll get started with appreciations. Before I get into specific appreciations, there is a new tool that the DAO is looking into that you might have heard if you were on our Wednesday weekly AMA lunch. But there's a Discord bot that was built by the people over at Giveth. I think it's not maintained by them anymore, but it is a tool that is used for giving and tracking praise, and then can also be used to pay out rewards based on that praise as well. And there's no ask here in the DAO that we replace anything we're currently doing with our Fox props, but that we maybe try out this new praise bot as well. And I know we're still working on it before it's actually going to be live for people to play around with, but it's a neat, cool way to track all of the praise that we've been giving. Today in the governance call, the way we give praise is I'm going to read off anything that's been posted in Fox props in the last week. Can also give my own praises to folks, and we could also bring people up onto the stage or read off things in the stage chat for appreciations. Gonna check out Fox props real quick and see what's going on over there. It's been a little quiet in the stage chat there for a while. So I don't know if this was this week or not, but there are Fox props to Willie Fox and DeFi for their fee discussion, for both being persuasive, and Fox props for Pasagos for always making Giant Kin think too hard. Does not look like I'm seeing. Oh, Vlad likes praise. Praise to you, Vlad, for always kicking it and for all of the hard work that you guys did with that new second ideation of the globalization proposal that we'll be talking about a little bit later. From praise to praise bot.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey, GM Josh.
GM, I just wanted to appreciate, I guess, the the whole community, the ShapeShift DAO. I know there's been a lot of conversations within like the leadership group too, and around this budget cycle. And I think just like super hard conversations are being had, which is encouraging. I appreciate it. Gives me hope for the future of the DAO. So I guess that's a appreciate and thanks to everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. I definitely agree. Big appreciations to those being mature and respectful while we try and navigate these hard decisions in difficult times in this bear market. Also, praise to Ocean for putting an end to a long fee debate by taking the Thorchain fees to governance. I will +1 that as well. All right. If you guys have any more appreciations, box props, or praise, feel free to add them as we're going through the call, and I'll do my best to shout them out. But for now, we're going to keep this call going and get into our actual proposals. Up first, we have a past proposal, SCP-124, fund the tokenomics workstream for Q1 and 2, and re-elect Kent as its leader. And this one passed with 20 million Fox. GM, sir.
Hello, Tyler. How you doing today?
Doing well. I'm glad it's not snowing like yesterday. How about yourself?
Man, I've been finding myself getting so depressed. It's like at least when the sun is out, it might be cold, but it's not as depressing. I wish I was in Arizona or something. That would be nice. Or Florida.
Yeah. Maybe some of our tropical contributors can post jealousy photos of
Yeah,
what it would be like to not be in the snow.
give us some of that dopamine, serotonin.
Mhm.
So yeah, this was cool to see. Awesome, I think validation of just everything we've been doing in tokenomics, and the general approach, particularly the core focus of runway preservation, helping to keep the community focused on that. I won't belabor all these points because we've talked about the proposal. I just will use a couple recent examples to underscore what we'll be doing, or kind of as an example of what we'll still be focusing on in Q1 and Q2. Last week we had a nice discussion about just the state of the runway and the DAO's finances after the payoff of the Rari loan, and kind of options for moving forward there. I also outlined the what I believe to be a complete non-option, which is letting that runway dwindle down and relying on Fox as a highly risky and untenable option. As the workstream leader, I will argue vociferously against that scenario. Although of course I don't have the carte blanche over any of those, but I will do my best to convince the relevant parties and the community. I also outlined strategy as a big focus for the first half of the year, and we actually delved into that just yesterday. Thank you for everybody who attended that discussion. If you didn't make it, I moderated a discussion that was about some really interesting sort of different perspectives in terms of our business model and where the DAO should be focusing its resources. Another thing that kind of a general consensus that came out of that was out of that chat was there should probably be more things moving into the governance process, as opposed to sort of just endlessly debating things in Discord, but without really moving them to governance, because governance is our ultimate barometer of truth, and there certainly is no downside to taking things to governance if you really feel passionate about something. So if that actually happens, these calls could get even busier over time. If you missed the strategy session, please check out the recorded meetings channel. The Mod Squad is always kind enough to post there or repost. Let's see. And then also, finally, there's going to be more research along the lines of Ethereum-based rollups. I see that continuing to be an interesting and fascinating area moving forward. In fact, if you look at the numbers on DeFi Llama, Arbitrum and Optimism are performing well even in this bear market. So that'll be a very interesting focal point moving forward. Oh my God, Maria, that picture in stage chat looks amazing. I'm instantly wanting to grab like a rum drink or something. So yeah, that's about it, guys. if you have any questions or thoughts, jump into the tokenomics channel and say what's up. And I'm looking forward to continuing to serve as your tokenomics workstream leader.
Thank you, Kent, GM, and big appreciations for you moderating that strategy conversation yesterday. Look forward to many future strategy calls with you at the helm in the future.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm. That's it that we've got for past proposals. We do have quite a few active proposals coming up. And I will give a shout out. There was some extra praise and Fox props to Pizza J for the ETH Denver designs, and also a response from Ocean and appreciation back at Willie for putting some of these key conversations to a close. Up next for active proposals, we have SCP-122, the proposal to renew globalization, which has been re-ideated. This one is by the Smith. Let me see if I can get a invite out to you up on the stage. Is he here? Looks like we've got Vlad instead. GM Vlad.
Yeah, I hope he's as good as the Smith. He's not available now. Yeah, so we radiated the proposal, right? People are already voting there. A lot of good discussion happening. Part of the comments we had about from Josh right now are about this whole discussion. So we went for the second time. I don't know. As an active proposal, I'm here for like answering any questions about it. I hope you guys like I'll read with care, and we're still open for feedback, of course.
Yeah, Vlad. Maybe I don't know if you've got a shorthand in front of you, but maybe for the folks that have been watching this process from afar, is there maybe some highlights of the things that changed most in this re-ideated form from the last time we were up on stage chatting?
Okay, so a short sum up, right? For those that are a little bit more far, globalization's intentions is to expand the DAO's work and presence globally, and we've been trying some strategies there, and based on the DAO's roadmap itself, we're planning some sort of actions. And in terms of budget spending from the DAO, which is highlighted in the screen sharing on Zoom right now, we represent 5.8K USDC budget expense plus 12,000 Fox a month. We did some reducing compared from the first version of the ideation in the first ideation process. What else can I talk about it?
Maybe we can clarify too here from some people in the audience. Is this the official proposal for vote, or is this? My understanding was that we already went through the ideation process, and this is the results of that ideation going to vote again, or is this another ideation process? So there will be another official vote after this. Oh, and
no,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's the official one.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for hopping through the process and really listening to the community and engaging with them about what they're interested in supporting and things like that. I know it's been grueling to go back and forth on all of these different stages of this proposal.
No, I'm very thankful for the process that we did together. It was very like enriching process. I think for everyone and for every member of the workstream too, it was a very nice opportunity to get like all the members that sometimes are doing like some peripheral things to make the workstream work, to get really into the governance process in a very deep way. So I'm very thankful that we did that together as a community. And I think we found like a very balanced way to still moving forward, bringing the value of the DAO that I think we always brought, but in a optimized way with very clear goals, not just numeric goals, but like attitude goals in this next period. Um, I'm very excited to continue with that. Global work stream is made by 7 people, and yet doesn't represent like uh, a violent cost for the treasure in terms of the value we can bring to the DAO, and we make efforts to bring 247, and I love doing it. We want to keep doing it, and very thankful for all that.
Well, thank you, Vlad, for giving us those updates. It looks like we've got until the 31st for this voting phase, so that's another 5 days for folks to plug in their wallets and vote for the globalization work stream. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming on stage.
last time was a record of quorum, I guess, a very good participation. I want to see that again. It's very excited to see, even if it's yes or no, like seeing the whole DAO evolve or something like that. That means we're like touching the members, and the members want to interact with this and worry about this. And it's very good to see the DAO as active as that in governance. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Can't agree more, Vlad. Watching this governance process mature and seeing some standout votes, especially with you guys here, has been great. So looking forward to seeing the results, and just encourage the Fox fam out there, if you haven't voted, plug in your wallets, check out the link, and put your Fox to vote.
Yeah, please vote.
Up next, we have H. Payne with SCP 123, and renewing the marketing workstream. Additionally, a revised version. Jim, sir.
Jim, happy to be here. Good to see all the sunny skies in DAO land and hear of all the awesome things going on. Yeah, so this is a highly not contentious, a highly refined version of the prior proposal. Just as a formal update for everyone who doesn't want to take the time to read it, or just to state it again. This updated proposal will have 2 marketing full-time contributors on it. It will be myself and T Wells. We were downsizing significantly to just a 2-person crew, and largely relying on potentially outsourcing additional work to other people, but also cutting back and rescoping a lot of our efforts. So the community sounded like they wanted more focus on Twitter and socials and partnership and marketing and that kind of development, as well as SEO and sort of general building on that front. And so we're sort of pivoting our efforts towards there, and cut back basically all the way to the studs if we're thinking house renovation mindset. I'm sort of been in that mindset lately, but yeah, that's sort of where we're at here. It's a super fun time. All the people will be missed from the prior work stream, but as of February 1, there's no more obligations from the old work stream contributors. And should this pass, it'll just be 2 Wells and myself on the marketing team, just sort of making this happen. So that's where we're at. Open to any questions, comments, concerns. Feel free to drop them down in Marketing Growth Public.
Yeah, I know that we've discussed this for quite a bit of time, both on the Discord and the forums, and up here on the stage in previous iterations of things. So would love to continue those discussions if they're there, but I do think that there's a lot of ways in which you guys very directly responded to the feedback from the community here, and there's some big changes in the budget and staffing and focus. So just want to give some Fox props to you, sir, for making some of the hard decisions you had to do, and iterating on this process to meet some of the requests.
100%. And it's not all doom and gloom. There is lots of cool shit happening. And indeed, we have ETH Denver coming up. That is going to be freaking crazy. We have a lot of really awesome stuff coming through with T Wells. We have a lot of really awesome social stuff coming through. We're seeing a lot of really good action from Archeo. So the team is downsizing, but the efforts are becoming more targeted and focused. And although the breadth will not be as comprehensive, I think the depth and the specific targets we've gone to are good. I think the other important thing to mention, just that's more numerical, is our budget was cut by I think it was 52% or something like that. So compared to last 6 months sprint spend, we're cut another 52%, and that cut of 52% is just extrapolating the already reduced budget under Tyler. So realistically, it's probably sitting closer to 60 or 70 under Lindsay and Hunt and other people. But for sake of just ease of math, it just sort of averaged out Tyler's interim workstream budget over 6 months. So yeah, lots of really cool stuff coming. I'm super excited about this stuff, and the great committee with PTT and T Wells and myself. Looking forward to sort of driving a lot of that stuff home. I think it's going to bring a lot of good value to the community and to the token holders. So I'm excited to see how that sort of turns itself around.
Awesome. And another follow-up, I know it's not directly related to the proposal, but if people are interested in getting involved more with either Fest or ETH Denver, what's the best avenue or direction we can point them to?
Yeah, totally. Actually, so if you haven't already signed up for ETH Denver, signups are down in event threads. So if you scroll down, I don't know how many channels people have. I have like seemingly it seems like I have way too many of them, but there should be. I think this might be an external thread. It's called event threads. If it's not external facing, you can jump into it. If you select marketing as a role, you should be able to see it. If not, drop a message in marketing growth, and I'll have GK sort of drop you down there, or I'll fill you in accordingly. And to find out more about Fest, that's I guess we'll probably show some more off about that during office hours. But if you want more information in the meantime, again, just drop a message in marketing growth, or go to the event thread that Fest is, and you can get more information there.
Thank you, sir. And then I will just acknowledge the timeline on this too is running until the 31st for your votes here. So right up until the end of the month, you can plug in your wallet and vote for SCP 123. And finally, the last active proposal we have right now that you can vote on is SCP 125, one that I put up for renewing the operations workstream for the 4th term. This one, similarly to the previous one, you have until the 31st to vote on. And this one is a budget that is over the total for 6 months, $262,500, split up into monthly payments of 32,000 some change in USDC and 11,000 some change in Fox per month. And this is assuring the staffing and testing for the entire ops team. We do a lot of things in assuring uptime and reliability, as well as testing, support, RDP disclosure handling, a lot of kind of admin-y sort of coordination between work streams things, go no goes, retros. Really, we're here to help make people's lives and experiences more expeditious and fruitful. That's what Ops is here to do. So happy to answer any questions about the details of this proposal. It looks like, hey, we got Never Was on the stage.
Hey, Tyler, just real quick, because I'm sure I'll speak later as well. But just because we heard from globalization and marketing that there were like changes made from the ideation phase to the voting stage, I was just wanted to ask, were there any changes made between the stages for your proposal that's up right now, or is it basically the same as it was regarding any feedback and stuff?
Yeah, there actually weren't any changes made from the initial posting to where we are now. It is as drafted.
Okay, cool. And I'll jump back down. I know we got to keep it moving, so I'll talk later probably.
Awesome. Thanks, Nervous. Checking in on the stage chat. Oh, looks like Willie's going to be joining us when we get to the new posts here in just a minute or two with another conversation about fees. I feel like we're just sneakily going to continue to have proposals that have something to do with fees just to make Ocean pull all of his hair out. Maybe Willie too. Moving on in my slides, we are using Metaphoro for our forums. It doesn't completely have everything we're looking at. There's still some key integrations, I believe, or things that we're trying to check boxes on so we can have all of the ideation process in Metaphoro as well. But for now, there's some details. If you were previously a forum poster in our old forum, there's some instructions on how to get over into your Metaphoro account, which is more Web3 native, has better kind of login features, things like that. And there's still the template instructions here listed for if you'd like to make a post here for a proposal, looking for the outline that kind of we all follow, as well as ideation still being in snapshot, as it is the best way for us to keep it Sybil resistant. We have one ideation post, and this is fees for ThorChain swaps. We've spent many conversations, including lots of time at the DAO talking about this, so we're not going to spend any much more time than me acknowledging that this end date for voting for this ideation phase is on February 3rd. So it was a very long ideation phase to give the community some time to think about it, discuss it, and vote. In the new forums, or new forum posts, we have one from Willie, one from myself, and one from DeFi. We don't have to go in order, guys. Whoever wants to hop up here first can chat. And it sounds like, Willie, you're double dipping here too.
Sure. So Fox voting power, only update in that post was a question around if we could support the Fox XDAI farm, the region farm in the Give farm. And yeah, I guess good time to just make it clear that currently the DAO is at its limit in Snapshot for the number of strategies that can be implemented. Snapshot only allows for 8 different strategies, and while there are ways where you can kind of bundle multiple strategies into a single strategy, which we're already doing, they strongly advise against that. Not exactly clear why, but basically when we've asked about it, or if they're ever planning to increase it, they haven't given us much information and just say no, like maybe you should just have fewer strategies is kind of the vibe that we get from them, unfortunately. So that is one challenge that we have just for adding any new snapshot strategies. And also, it's much easier if we ever do figure out a way to add more strategies. Some strategies have already been created. You can just easily add those strategies to the snapshot space and configure them, such as like for tokens in a liquidity pool in a farm. There's strategies you can use where you just put in the liquidity pool token in the underlying asset token, and you don't have to write any new code. For strategies that don't exist yet, basically somebody needs to write that code and make a pull request to Snapshot and get it merged. So yeah, currently the governance process says that DAO will do its best to grant one vote for every Fox wherever feasible, as Fox kind of expands across different chains and DeFi protocols. And there is not any kind of clear process for ever removing a snapshot strategy that's been enacted. So that's kind of the status quo. What I mentioned in the post was that if those challenges are solved, if we can easily add the region farm, for example, then of course would be happy to do it. But in lieu of that, yeah, right now I'm not planning to add that strategy or do the work because it's not as easy as flipping a switch. And yeah, just good to put that on the radar for everybody that currently we are at the capacity for snapshot strategies, and we'll need to figure something else out if we ever want to give voting power for Fox in an additional place, or if we ever want to remove an existing strategy because it's deprecated and no longer relevant. That's all.
Thanks, Willie, for keeping up with that and keeping the community informed about all of the strategies we can use for voting and making sure that that's optimized. You want to share about this new draft that you just put up quickly as well?
Yes, you bet. So I just put up a incubation post and it's a counter proposal to the proposal that's currently in ideation to enable fees. And this instead is an idea that originally I think came from Gray Machine at the DAO WOW, and also had some support from Horny Fox in the incubation thread. I know a lot of foxes have kind of shown support for this compromise, and I felt that it was important for as this goes up for official vote, for the community to have some options, right? Because it's not binary. The only options aren't just to enable fees or not to enable fees. And also because I think this will be the most controversial proposal. I think we've seen some evidence from that just for how the incubation poll went and how many comments there were, how many discussions there are, and how many really compelling arguments there are on both sides. That whichever side wins, the side that loses, there's going to be a lot of foxes and active community members and contributors that are not very happy with it. And who knows what they'll do? Maybe they'll just suck it up and decide, okay, fine, I'll just keep contributing. But who knows? Maybe they'll decide to exit the DAO or to fork the DAO. I think is a very, very real risk. And I don't know if we even need to go down that path. I think it's worth considering a compromise such as this that can actually, I think, give us better data than if we were to just enable fees, because we can actually see whether or not users are opting out. And sorry, I should have mentioned, if anyone's not familiar with this concept, it was Gray Machine's suggestion to basically have a default donation, not even a fee, but a default donation, but also give users the ability to opt out. So if we did that, we could still say that we're a free, open source public good. We don't have to change any of our marketing messaging. We don't give up that value prop of being a place where users can trust that they're not paying any extra added fees on top of these protocols that they can access without fees. And we'll be able to get data on how many users are happy paying that fee, how many users are not happy paying that fee, and we could potentially even stand to earn more revenues. So this proposal isn't just to do it for Thorchain swaps, but to basically do this for all the different transaction types that the DAO can generate revenue from. So via on and off ramps, trading across all the different dexes, and earning yield. So I was even considering putting up just the proposal to do no fees and Fox rewards, because I think that is also another option that's not really considered in the let's do fees or let's not do fees. That the average token holder might not be aware of that strategy. But instead, after talking to some stakeholders just in the past day, I felt this was a good balance and a good compromise that was hopefully likely to get support from both sides. But yeah, I do recognize ultimately it's up to the community. I felt it would be valuable for the community to also have this option to consider for this very, very important decision that's very controversial. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to hear everybody's thoughts on it.
Thanks, Willie. And I know we've had lots of discussions around all of this. Just wanted to state that we do have some precedents about competing proposals like this with, as Firebomb acknowledged, the previous support proposals. So if we do find that there is community support for a majority for both of these, we could find ourselves in a similar path of voting one versus the other.
Thanks for the time. GM, everybody.
GM Willie. There's also a new forum post from DeFi Cafe and one for myself. I'll dive into mine real quick. I posted a draft of a proposal that has actually had some help from different representatives in both product and marketing, as well as a little bit of input from engineering. And this is a proposal that was started back when I was interim marketing workstream leader, but it is an operative definition of privacy. And this would be an addendum to SCP 80, which was one of the bigger, more controversial proposals that we had back in the day as it related to user data and Pendo. And I don't believe there's ever been a DAO that's done a proposal specifically around the definition of a word, and well, the idea of how we treat privacy here in the DAO. So we might be doing some firsts with this proposal, which is pretty cool and exciting to me. But just some of the details I wanted to go over to make the community aware about. This proposal would define data privacy as the ability of a user to determine when, how, and to what extent their personal information is shared with others, as well as how that data is correlated with other trackable, metricizable events inside and outside of the application. And basically, kind of the main meat and detail of this is going completely private and not tracking anything whatsoever from users. Really hamstrings product and marketing with our available metrics we can use on our users, and helps and really stops us from being able to make better data informed decisions. So inside this, there are data tracking details that we're acknowledging through anonymized click-throughs and user journeys, where in the previous proposal on SCP-80, we explicitly excluded sending hashes of users' public keys, but this proposal is going to amend that to permit the tracking of anonymized data of hashed wallet IDs, hashed public keys, asset IDs belonging to public keys, the total portfolio wallet fiat balances, and account balances in fiat and crypto units. One thing to be clear here is, while this information will be potentially will be tracked if this passes, this will be hashes that are unique and not able to be de-anonymized, and no personal identifiable information will ever be tracked, and that is stated in bold in this proposal as well. So there's no comments on this one. It just kind of hit the forum a couple of days ago, but this is definitely a proposal that is open to the community. If there are people who have strong feelings around strategies that have been outlined here to help support product and marketing in doing better user analytics here on the product that we're building. And we hope to achieve that through clearly and narrowly defining privacy. So that is my proposal for the addendum to SCP-80. Do we have DeFi in the audience that'd like to hop up and chat engineering? GM, sir.
GM, we do. What's up?
Not much. Do you want to give a light rundown about your engineering workstream renewal post that you just posted in the forum the other day?
Sure. Yeah, basically renewal of the previous cycle without change numbers. Based on some feedback that we are going to add to open positions to it, namely senior backend, senior front end. It gives us the option, but not the obligation to hire. So yeah, the budget will increase, but until we hire, the cash flow considerations won't change. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And appreciate all comments directed to the forum, I guess.
Hey, Neverwas, do you want to ask a question while we're here? Are you there? Maybe mic issues? Can you hear him? Is it maybe me?
I can't hear him.
Check. Hey, Neverwas, maybe we can use the stage chat or the forum. It sounds like maybe some mic
How about
issues.
now? Sorry, how about now? Yeah, it's
there we go.
Yeah, no, thanks. Sorry for the sorry. Yeah, I had some just some questions and stuff that I wanted to ask DeFi with the opportunity. I know with the forum sometimes things can get a little bit convoluted and harder to follow. So bear with me for a moment, everyone. First and foremost, sorry, disclaimer. Let me clearly state the non-intent of hurting feelings or the perception of personal attacks. I feel that sometimes I have to say this because things might be taken out of context or assumptions. But anyways, I'll get into the questions about the engineering post in 1 second, but there is some context that I'd like to share. So I'm a little curious, like, where is the disconnect? What is being missed within the community here? And this is in part to what I've been seeing for quite some time, but I wanted to bring to the attention is this convenient silence that seems to be a go-to when deemed hard to defend. So, like, I'll say my post aside, and the cherry picking of assumptions.
Oh, it's a
Nope.
shame.
Sounds like we lost you again.
Anything now? Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with this thing.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but I just want to hop in real quick too. If now that we have DeFi on stage, if it's directed towards the engineering one,
there'll be direct questions, Tyler. But like I said, this is context that kind of goes to like some overwhelming things that I've been seeing, not only just with conversations that have been asked about proposals, but stuff. But anyways, so I don't know where it cut out last time. I'll try to watch the thing to see if my mic stops popping. But anyways, so to the point, like Pasagos and some others have gone out of their way to provide detail and sound points, basically just to have it ignored. Like I said, my stuff aside, I can take it as it is. But one point to this is kind of like I believe there was a question last week during the governance call, possibly this one. I don't remember. It was something about like the lack of public voices around like proposed changes. And these voices are like very evident in certain situations, and if apples, stable spending is the utmost priority, why the silence? Regardless of capacity issues or need, why is this being glazed over? So it's very common, like if people go through like a large post in the forum and then don't get a reply and it's just ignored. But anyways, so now to the questions regarding engineering. So some food for thought before that. So first question, DeFi, 32,000 in Fox, all non-recurring. So no contributions paid out in Fox at all for this renewal?
I'm not sure I understand your question. You're referring to the bounty budget?
Your budget for the engineering, it has 32,000 Fox allocated for the 4 months, and it says non-recurring. So no contributions are paid out in Fox at all?
I still don't understand your question.
It's very simple. I just stated it very clearly. 32,000 Fox, all non-recurring, showing in the budget that you put up for your proposal that for 4 months. I'm asking, so no contributions are paid out in Fox? I mean, so no contributions will be paid out in Fox. It's all stable coins?
If you're referring to the 32,000, that's pretty explicitly described.
DeFi, you're not hearing me. So are you saying that the contributions for the 4 contributors are currently all in stable coins? No Fox contributions are made for the contributions of those contributors?
That's outlined in the labor section of the budget. Any contributor reserves the right to take any portion of Fox, of their SAR in Fox and locked varieties thereof. That's an individual contributor thing. So yeah, you have to.
Okay, so but as it stands as of right now, nothing's being allotted for it that way. That would be up to the individual contributors. Understood. Okay, cool. One other question that I had. So the last proposal was for 5 months. It's as it was written and stated on the timeline, and this is for 4, for the same reoccurring compensation amounts. Was the last budget incorrect? Because if you divide the last budget by 5 months, it kind of doesn't work out to the numbers, but this one, if you divide it by 4 numbers, it does work out to the numbers that are stated.
That may have been an oversight on the previous one. Yeah, it was, it went, 5? You're right. But obviously governance didn't notice on that. There was no malice intended there. It's just a spreadsheet error. The monthly amounts are up to the annualized amounts.
Okay, cool. Just as a note, I'm not sure if other people have noticed, but the budget links don't work in the post currently without editing it. I think you have like a period and like a closed bracket or something on the end. So I don't know if you want to fix that, but you can't, unless you edit the link physically, you can't actually get into the spreadsheets. Okay, so another one. So because we're talking about runway and stuff here. So realistically, you find a new contributor after a 45, 60-day search. You then onboard with the current resources. This removes some capacity for training and project familiarity, obviously. So maybe you allot like 15 to 30 days for that before that new contributor is comfortable and being able to act as an independent dev. So dev time is a capability. So during which the possibility of team capacity decreases while the onboarding is in process. So basically, we're looking at I don't know what's the latest figure, 10 months runway, whatever. You have here. So worst case, you have 30 days with increased capacity. With one individual that will be added to the engineering team. Best case, 60 days if you're able to kind of do those low end searches for people and then adding them with training and stuff. So the question is, at this point, as per the sentiment presented, frequently you'd be around like 6 months or less of runway. Once again, this is just stable coins we're talking about for runway, but how does that fit into like the work stream strategy? If we know that we need to add capacity and we're looking to add users, but you're only going to get basically a very limited amount, like 6 months or less after adding that user, how does that work into the work stream strategy?
I'm not sure where you're getting those figures for onboarding periods, but that hasn't been my experience. Has that been yours, onboarding engineers personally?
Well, what are your numbers? I mean, how fast can you train someone with our code base, get them up to speed, and have them independently working on the work stream as independent devs taking on like projects and stuff themselves?
In my experience with games and Apotheosis, they're immediately valuable.
But they were doing bounties before that for a period of time. So, I mean, you have to count that into their getting familiar with the code base and the help that went along with them asking the right questions and getting them up to speed on stuff, correct?
Sure, but they're very capable engineers.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm just asking. So if I'm saying that it would take 14 days to basically familiarize a new engineer with our project, our processes, our release schedule, and all the different little things that are there, maybe you're assuming that it would be immediate. But even then, you still have that search, which is not something that doesn't take time and effort away from other things, because it does take time to find a capable engineer. So okay.
Never was
I asked how that fits into the strategy. This is an important question that you would
never
think
was. Never
Yep.
was. Can you
Yep.
allow other people to speak on this stage, please?
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying. Go ahead.
Do you have any other specific questions related to the proposal at hand?
I guess because you don't want to answer that one. During this critical time, are there any other like planned vacations or time off that would further impact capacity to the limited engineering work stream? Like, do you guys have any planned stuff coming up where that, for example, the end of the end of the year, obviously there was a lot of time off for holidays and stuff. Do we have anything planned that's coming up that would further limit the capacity of the engineering team?
There's a couple of days in March. I
Okay.
think 12 months out's a little bit harder forecast for PTO. I
Gotcha.
trust that the team delivers on what they do.
Got you. Just questioning, because the questions. And then the last one would be, so why the differences in compensation for title for like senior engineering roles? And this could be as simple as, is it just domain knowledge or seniority? But I did notice like, the differences in everyone's compensation.
People are happy with their compensation. And yes, seniority and tenure and experience and skill set.
Okay, cool. No, just was wanting to verify that was the case. I wasn't sure if it was for anything else. Thank you.
You're back.
All right. No, thanks. Thanks, Never Was, and thanks, DeFi. We can, if anyone else wants to ask questions, I guess we can, but I would like to maybe also direct them to the forum. It looks like you're pretty expeditious on responding to feedback, and I've already done so with some of the suggestions around potentially options for scaling the team. So I guess I would just echo what you said previously about directing feedback to the forum where we can make it actionable as well.
Appreciate it, Tyler.
Thanks, DeFi. I don't see any other directed questions there, so we will move on, and we can hopefully address any more questions that pop up around that specific proposal in the Discord stage chat for now, or else probably more appropriately direct them over to the forums where they can be part of the overall general discussion. And then finally wrapping up the call, we have a chance for any of the old forum posts, posts that maybe haven't made it all the way over to ideation yet, still maybe have some discussion going on, or maybe need to be revitalized and brought back to the community so they can be ready for some form of action. I'm not sure if we've got anyone here actually from these three this time around. Yeah, these three unfortunately couldn't find Discord user handles for them. I know. Oh, I guess we do know. Or that's not. We know who Horny Fox is. I don't know who Concerned Fox is, but these had their day last forum, our last governance call where we got to chat about them, and this is kind of the last window we will have for these on governance calls, unless something big changes and happens in them. Any takers for chatting about these three? All right. Looks like we'll relegate any more future conversation for these old posts to the forum. Maybe something will bubble up to the surface that will be exciting enough for a governance call. And that's all I got, folks. Wow, that's 2 weeks in a row. We have done this in under an hour. I feel like I'm giving time back to you guys now after all these long strategy calls and things like that we've discussed. So put it in the bank, save it for next week. Can't always guarantee we'll be able to give you time back, but thank you all for sticking with us through this 74th ShapeShift DAO governance call. You can follow these slides as they already are posted in the recorded meetings. And we'll have, I'm pretty sure, a audio recording of this as well if you'd like to listen to everything that everyone said. So make it a good GM, and we'll see you in the forums. We'll see you in Snapshot, and make your Fox's votes count. GM.